Hi VC, it's Aaron with Alamere, and today I'm entering Jeff Whitcher's 200 subs contest. And Jeff Whitcher's a really great guy. He's got a really killer channel, a lot of great content. He pumps out videos so fast. It's amazing how fast he pumps his videos out, and they're all really good. He does a lot of countdown videos. I know I just did one with him yesterday, him and Chris Profi, Deep Purple best of 10 songs, and that was a lot of fun. And we talked for about an hour, almost an hour after we were done, it seemed like. And he's a really cool guy, great guy, and a killer channel. And so his contest is to show your first 5 albums. And I'm going to show a little more than that. And these are albums. Some of them are the actual albums from my childhood. Other ones are just albums that were from my childhood that I have represses of because I don't have those originals. And I'll start off here with this one here, and this one is it's really hammered. I actually have a repress of this now, but I don't really listen to it a lot, you'll see. But this is my old album from when I was a kid, and you can see it's falling apart. It's got tape on it. I put my initials, put a sticker, but I still have this old first record I had. I played it to death when I was a kid. I loved it, and I've always loved listening to records. So, I mean, and look how hammered that is. It's just I only keep it around for sentimental value, and I do have a better copy of it, but I just like to keep those just because I've had it for so long. And another one I've had since I was like 8 years old, 7 or 8, is this one here. And this is the story of Star Wars, of course. And back in those days, in the 70s, there was no internet. You had to see the movie when it was in the theater. That was it. And I was obsessed with Star Wars. I was 7 years old when it came out, totally obsessed with it. It was kind of life-changing when you're that young and seeing something like that, and there was nothing else really like it. And, it's a little beat up because I've had this is my old original record from the 70s, so, but it's still got the booklet on the record. And I also had this on 8-track, drove my mom crazy, listening to this over and over in the car. And, she wasn't a big Star Wars fan, so she let me listen to it, so that was cool. And, here's another one. This is an old record from my childhood. It's still the same old record here. Paul Simon's Greatest Hits. Really good record. A lot of these were my parents' records that they gave me. So these are from the actual records from when I was young. And I played this to death when I was young. I really liked it. And it still sounds pretty good. The cover's a little bit beat up. But I just spent hours listening to this record, flipping it over and over, reading along the lyrics, the liner notes. Even when I was a little kid, I loved doing that. I was just obsessed with the music and the lyrics, and it was like you get lost in the different world when you're reading along with it, and I really like it. And the same thing with this record here. Had the same experience with this. This is Jim Croce, Life and Times. This is my old record from when I was a kid. It was my parents, but of course they handed them down to me, so these are my first records I ever had. So I've been collecting records really since I was young. And the same thing with this, all the lyrics. And it's got some of my favorite Jim Croce songs, Roller Derby Queen, Speedball Tucker, Bad Boy, Leroy Brown. But this whole album's really good, and I've heard it a million times. The old original one we've had. And this one here is another one from my childhood. It actually still has a shrink wrap on it, which is kind of crazy. John Denver's Greatest Hits. And they used to sell records at JCPenney. The clothing store. That's kind of crazy. And so this one here, I'm not really into country music that much, but I still, I know this album really well because I heard it so much when I was young. It's got, there's a track list there. And, he's a really good singer-songwriter. Really good stuff. And here's another one from when I was young. England Dan and John Ford Coley, Nights Are Forever, and that one. And I'd really love to see you tonight with the big hits off it. I remember we got this for Christmas one year, and we played it like nonstop when we first got it. I remember. So these are all old records from my childhood here that I just I've always held on to. And here's another one here. A Place in the Sun from Pablo Cruz. I used to put this on. We'd have one of those record players that would drop the records. And I always played this when I was going to sleep for some reason. It always put me in a good mood. And I really liked this when I was younger. So there's some Pablo Cruz. And then this here, one of the best greatest hit albums ever. Best of the Guess Who, amazing record. And so I've been into the Guess Who, before most other bands, because my mom always loved These Eyes, and I really love this record. The first side of this record is one of the best sides of music ever put on wax. It's got These Eyes, Laughing, Undone, No Time, American Woman, No Sugar Tonight, and New Mother Nature is the first side. The second side's good too, but that first side just is unbeatable. Really great stuff. And from that, we've always had a copy of these two records, and actually had both of these on record and 8-track. So we'd listen in the car back when I was young. This here is actually not the old version of it, but it's a Burton Cummings solo album, first solo album. The first one got so wore out, I don't even know what happened to it. It fell apart, I think. And yeah, this is a great, great record. He's, of course, a singer from the Guess Who. And these two records of his, that one and this is actually the old one here. Still sounds really good. Those are two of my favorite records of all time. I love them. They're just absolutely great records. It's like my mom's favorite stuff, so we'd listen to them over and over. We'd drive around, have the 8 tracks, listen to them at home on the wax. So, and then this isn't the actual old record, but this is the first record I ever got into. About 3 or 4 years old. I told this story a few times, and Abbey Road is what got me into music, and I still love it. It's one of my favorite records ever. And of course, we also had this on vinyl, Revolver. So when I was a young kid, I grew up, and these are what I was listening to, and it kind of shaped who I was musically for years to come. And also this record, Magical Mystery Tour, which we had on 8-track as well. And these records just blew my mind when I was a little kid, and I still do. And then, the mid-'70s, started getting some Fleetwood Mac in the house, and I've always loved this record. Great record, as well as this one. This is actually not the old one, but these two records were played constantly in my house. And then we always had this on 8-track, this one here, Bob Seger, Stranger in Town, amazing record, my favorite Bob Seger record. It's just great all the way through. It's just an amazing record. I love this. We listen to this so much. And, so actually those were ones that I've been handed down and I'd had for years. This is actually the first record I actually bought with my own money. I was 8 years old. So 8 years old, started buying records. And this was my first record I actually purchased with my own money. Those I acquired, they were my first records. So this is the first one I actually purchased. And this is a really good record. It's a compilation. It's got all these songs on it. And when I was a kid, I was just amazed I could throw all these songs on one record. Of course, now you listen to it, and it sounds a bit compressed. Doesn't sound as great as a lot of the other stuff. But when I was young, it just sounded amazing to me. And it was just one hit after another. And still, when I hear any of these songs, like from, just on their own, I'm always waiting for the next one from this record to come on, because I'd heard it so much when I was young. And so that one was my first actual LP purchase when I was a kid. Although I had a lot of records. And then I started getting into cassettes, and then in my heavy metal, I started getting into harder rock. And so the first two I actually bought were on a cassette, were these two records. Same as Ron Haggerty, pretty much the same ones. But it was a little later on, but I thought I'd show these because these are what I really first started spending my money on. That one and Quiet Riot Mental Health. And these kind of changed me, and these skyrocketed me into the harder music, and I got into heavy metal, and I love these two records to this day. They're amazing. And I actually still have my old Quiet Riot Mental Health cassette. This is my old original one I've had since I was a kid. First cassette I ever bought. And those are like my first records. There was other ones too, but those are the main ones that I still have, or still have a copy of the same record. So there we go. And Jeff, congratulations on your 200 subs. That's really cool. I'm sure you'll get hundreds and thousands more, hopefully thousands more. You got a great channel. I wish I could put videos out as frequently as you, but you just do a great job on I don't understand how you do all those countdowns, and because it takes me a while to figure them out. So it's just amazing to me how fast you pump those out, and you do a really good job on them too. And I really love your channel, love watching you, and good luck in the future, and I hope to see many more videos from you. Everybody, Have a good one. Rock on. Sub to Jeff Whitcher, Vinyl Destination. All right. Have a good one.